in terms of story and plot, are there going to be, I guess, penalties, or do people react differently if you're like a good Sith or a really evil Jedi?
So one of the questions was, are there going to be plot penalties? Are there going to be different reactions if you're a really good Sith or really evil Jedi? And it's a good one because it shows you already understands the basics, right? So everybody understands faction is different from morality. You can be a light side Sith. In fact, you're starting at a very different place. So yeah, there are definite plot reactions. There are definitely people who will come to reinforce one thing or another. Luckily, most of the people that you're dealing with as NPCs can't see your bar. And we no longer give light side, dark side points for talking a good game. Okay, we wanted to allow you to be snarky, and it doesn't make any sense with the separation of factions for a Sith to go up to his master and say, just so you know, I'm light side and I like duckies and rainbows. He's gonna get stomped. They do rule, I'm with that.
With duckies and rainbows.
Yeah, clearly. But it's the moment that you choose, right? If your master says, hey, go kill all these younglings, and you say, that sounds so cool. I'm gonna go, I'm gonna dance in their blood, it's gonna be great. You don't get dark side points for that, because what you're actually being is a smart Sith. When you get dark side points, it's when you show up and you make that decision. When you've gone to the point where it can't go any further, when that person's standing in front of you and is like, hey, don't kill me, and you actually make that choice. Or you're playing multiplayer and your buddy makes that choice. But remember, at that point, if you were being nice, you'd still get your light side points, and you'd be sort of disappointed. That's when it comes in. But there are times, there is actually a point, I do want to, there is a point in Corbin that we've had probably more shocked reactions. And I'm going to go ahead and spoil this little, it's a little plot piece. People have kind of gotten there. In the Sith Warrior, you get sent into a tomb to collect all the shards from the different parts of the tomb. You're really learning about your ancestor, you're doing these pieces. You come back out of it, you've run an entire tomb, so it's you know, a quarter of Corbin. For those of you who've played, it's a big place. And you get back, and Clemmerall, who's one of the other Sith that's training with you, he's not very good. And he tries to jump you with a whole bunch of other dudes, and it doesn't work. And then afterwards, he's very apologetic, and he's like, hey, you know what, like, I tried, and I couldn't get in there, and I couldn't get the tombs, and I couldn't get the shards, and they're gonna kill me, and I'm never gonna be a Sith, what am I gonna do? And there is an ultra light side choice, and you can give him your shards. But it gets worse. It gets worse. Because the amount of people who were shocked when they gave him the shards, and then saw their quest tracker change back to collect the shards from 2 to 3. And came to me, and every time they objected, I said, well, why did you give them your shards? And they said, I didn't think the game would let me. Being a light side Sith is hard. Being a dark side Jedi and getting away with it is hard. These are some of the more fun and interesting challenges in the game. One of the things that BioWare has always believed is it is the choice to be able to go dark side that makes being heroic actually heroic. If you don't have that in front of you, then you just did what you had to do, not what you chose to do. Well, you got to run the whole tomb twice. You probably got a lot of experience with that. Over on the right.
Hi, you're showing a lot of like throwbacks to the first KOTOR game in this, with all the Revan stuff in HK-47. I know you guys didn't make it. Will there be any references to KOTOR 2 in this?
Absolutely. Okay, so the question was KOTOR 2. So here's the issue. People have said that, like, oh, we keep seeing Revan, we keep seeing this stuff. What happened in KOTOR 2 was odd, was in a very strange sort of corner of what was going on, and outside of the Jedi, most people don't understand it. So you don't see a lot of it on the galactic scale. In the timelines, you don't see them talking about what was actually going on with the Sith, because it wasn't like the giant civil war. It was this very, very odd thing that was happening in the back, very specific to what was tearing apart with the Force. But when you're in the game, especially if you're playing a Jedi or you're playing a Sith, there's a huge amount of what happened in that, and a huge amount of what happened not only with Revan, but remember, Revan went off into deep space to find out what was happening that was bad, and the Exile followed him. So we actually have 2 stories that we have to finish off.
Nice. gameplay footage we were watching before them play. The Jedi Consular didn't look that appealing. He just kind of sat there and heal. Is that actually more exciting than that?
No, one of the problems we had repeatedly with the demo is that the Jedi Consular had to run the camera.
Yeah.
So the Jedi Consular had to be the person to actually show you what was happening on the screen. We don't actually have any Healbot trained classes. So yes, the Jedi Consular is actually much more interesting than displayed by a movie where he had to actually be the cameraman.
Excellent. Well, I think we must have run out of time. That's why no one's allowed to come back up. So that's the end of our Q&A. Daniel Erickson, everybody.